Is Michigan's late push for Bryce Underwood enough to sway the momentum from LSU? We'll find out because I got Michigan insider Zach Libby on the show. And about 2 hours ago, he sat down for an exclusive one-on-one with five-star quarterback Bryce Underwood. So it sounds like Michigan is making one last run. We're going to talk to Libby all about it. But first, Michigan fans, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. They're saying a lot to talk about over the next couple weeks. We need you to be part of it. Hit subscribe for me, please. All right. Let's bring on Zach Libby from the Wolverine. Now, Zach, we know LSU's been trending on the recruiting prediction machine, but you just spoke to him. So does it sound like Michigan is making one final push to turn this recruitment around?
Oh, absolutely. Just last week, Underwood returned to Michigan for the Ohio State game, which was his first visit back to Ann Arbor since the late July barbecue at the Big House. We talked about that in depth. Quarterbacks coach Kirk Campbell was with him, just continuing to have a close connection with each other, right? Like it began in January when Campbell was out there on staff. Underwood got there early in the morning, so he was able to do some pregame festivities that the Big House can offer. Seeing the stands packed, for such a huge, seeing the first half with all those fans there, and really getting a chance to see an offense that's more balanced, right? Like we've been talking to Underwood quite a bit this fall and summer and throughout the spring, to be honest, about just hearing and seeing in practice just how much of a commitment the passing game is for Michigan under Kirk Campbell and J.J. McCarthy. So that was good to see. Obviously J.J. threw a touchdown in the first half, so Underwood got to see that. And J.J.'s ascension in progress and progression as a quarterback is impressing Underwood too. So, 2024 quarterback commit Jaden Davis was there. 2025 quarterback Carter Smith was there. So Underwood had great things to say about Jaden Davis specifically. So, it was a really good visit. He had a really good time, and I think he was really impressed with what a big game like that is presented in Ann Arbor.
All right, so it was a crazy day in the Michigan market because you were at Belleville High School interviewing Bryce Underwood, but there was also reports out there today that Bryce Underwood was on campus in Ann Arbor, potentially meeting with the staff. Can you clear that up? Was Underwood at Michigan on Tuesday?
I asked him specifically if he visited Michigan earlier before I saw him, and he said I wasn't there. Okay. And then I asked, yes, I can confirm that.
All right. Sometimes these rumors get out of control, but it seems like he did not make that visit. So do you think, that being said, do you think that the Michigan staff can get him back to Ann Arbor before the dead period hits in about 10 or 12 days?
Yeah, right. Like less than 2 weeks before, no more visits.
Yeah.
That's a really short time period to swing momentum. But, Michigan is doing everything possible to swing it back its way. 11 total unofficial visits, including the game day visit, including 2 days at the barbecue. Like Michigan is not waving the white flag. Sources that I've spoken to said, they're giving it their best. They still feel good. For a kid who's less than 30 minutes away from campus and has grown so familiar with that environment and just gotten to know so many people inside that program, including a teammate in Jeremiah Beasley, the linebacker commit for Michigan in the 2024 class. So there's a lot of familiarity, and Michigan has refused to give up on potentially landing the number one player in the 2025 class. That's in keep them home.
All right. We know there's a lot of LSU fans that are interested in what you're saying here. So in your opinion, you were just with Bryce about 2 hours ago. Do you still think that LSU is the favorite heading into that January 6th decision?
Yes. I've kind of been leaning LSU ever since the game day visit, and quite frankly, this past month too. Like there's so much in play for LSU, not including Jaden Daniels, not including potentially having a number one 2025 recruiting class and all the weapons that could be with Bryce. Just the lure of playing for the SEC and everything else, the family's liking of Baton Rouge, the coaching staff's push for him. It's just, there's a lot in play. And I know I haven't made a pick, but I still lean towards the Tigers.
All right, last question. How involved is Jim Harbaugh, or how involved is he allowed to be in this recruitment right now?
So he's actively recruiting. right? Like he got done with his suspension, which was the Ohio State game. He was at an in-home visit with Jeremiah Beasley on Sunday. Right now, which is Tuesday, he's in Burley, Idaho, with tight ends coach Grant Newsome and wide receivers coach Ron Bellamy for an in-home with top 100 wide receiver Gatlin Bear, who decommitted from Boise State not too long ago, and he's a priority. So Harbaugh's on the road. He is making a big effort this month to land 24 targets and get that 25 class going. But in terms of Underwood, I did ask him if he's spoken to Harbaugh in recent weeks, and he said no. Keep in mind too, Harbaugh wasn't at the game during his OSU visit because he was still suspended.
Sure.
So I did ask him too, do you plan on getting him, getting on the phone with Harbaugh soon? And he said possibly so. From my perspective, I feel like it will happen. We'll just see when it will happen because, Harbaugh is always the closer in these recruitments. He's had a track record of doing so. He's really good at it. So I fully expect them to personally connect, whether it's on the phone, maybe on a visit before the 18th when the dead period starts on campus, but somehow, some way, I fully expect them to connect.
All right. Well, we will just have to see what happens as Michigan tries to close in on their 24 class. They are also trying to close in the number one quarterback in the 25 class. So Zach Libby from the Wolverine, thanks for dropping by the Inside Scoop with all this intel on Bryce Underwood.
Appreciate it, Josh. Thanks.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.